sometimes last year I shared a post on my WhatsApp status. Someone shared the fact that when a woman is successful, people tend to say that she'll be a role model to young girls and women, and not really men, not emphasizing on men. And I actually posted on my status, and I engaged in a conversation with a male friend of mine who actually commented on that, and he said that it was really not out of place to say that, okay, you know, women tend to be inspired by fellow women. And I think I actually get that point really. So so coming back, I remember one time I actually saw a particular video. That particular video is actually an animation, and most times they used to use white people in the animation, but this one time they used a black person in the animation, and there was a young little girl who saw the animation, and she felt so fascinated, like, oh, this person looks like me, you know, more like seeing another black person. So I think I can relate, because you feel like, yes, I can learn from this person. This person looks like me, you know, so to say. And I remember there was one time I was part of a webinar, and during this webinar, one of the guest speakers studied a particular course, and there was one participant who studied the same course as one of the guest speakers. And during the whole panel session, the participant kept asking the other person questions, because they studied the same course, like, oh, okay, we can relate, so to say. And I remember last year when Michelle Alozie was actually like playing the World Cup, and she really went viral, and you know, a lot of people were like, okay, yeah, be like Michelle Alozie. I understand most young women, we tend to, like, you know, we get attracted to much more than maybe a young man, so to say, more like, oh, this is a footballer, and maybe they themselves, they've actually been facing challenges navigating life as a young footballer in a patriarchal society, and so to say. So more like, okay, yes, this person looks like me, she has done this for herself, she has been able to navigate life, and she's up there, so I can learn from her story, I can learn from her journey. So I really understand. And as men too, most times men too, like, he was also actually sharing about his own journey as well, that there are a lot of women he actually admires, but not like he actively, like, you know, listens to them, not like maybe he doesn't admire them, he doesn't feel like they don't have anything to offer him, but then because he's a man, so most times the journey of a fellow man we actually, like, you know, attract him better than a journey of a woman. And even from my own experience, I can say that a number of people reach out to me on a daily basis for mentorship. Let me say 98% of these people are women, and I think I understand, because I feel like, oh, she's a fellow woman like me, I can learn from her. And I know definitely, like, young men too, they will also look up to more, you know, older men for mentorship in that sense, because yes, this person looks like me. So I feel like it's not really out of place. And sometimes we also, and that day too, we also, like, talked about a situation whereby there are some women, and I think, yeah, so there's a question I also always ask myself sometimes, that, okay, most women who are content creators, I tend to see that they are followed more by women than men, and I think the reason why is because most of these women, they tend to create content. That are quite gendered. So most times when they create content like this, of course, women will tend to, like, follow them mostly. And he made an example of a particular woman who doesn't really do something around gender and stuff like that. So if a woman too actually, like, as content that is kind of gender neutral, both men and women too, we follow them. But if it's a woman who tends to put something around women, of course, there is very high tendency that this person will also be followed by, you know, fellow women, because they feel like, yes, I can learn from her journey and everything. But if it's gender neutral, both people will be willing to follow her journey, and so to say. So yeah, just sharing my thoughts out there. Thank you.